Welcome back to another fun-filled show. I'm your host, T.S. Blanchard, aka Free Blanche, aka Blanstradamus, aka Blanchy Kruger. Today's title is Author Schopenhauer and the Truth About a Woman's Nature, Part 2. Now, we did Part 2 last week, and I will link Part 1 at the end of this video. And so we're talking about a woman's nature. Now, think about this for a second. If we told the truth about a woman's nature, think about how much of society is affected. Think about what it does for voting. The Democrats lose the majority of their voting base. If the truth about a woman's nature is taught, the Democrats lose all of their political leverage. These corporations lose trillions of dollars because women won't be spending as frivolous. So women's voting matches their spending. They are the number one consumer groups, and they vote the same way they spend, or they spend the same way they vote, very frivolously, very emotionally, very responding to stimuli that's put out there from political parties or these corporations. So just imagine how much society gets affected. Then think about education. The teachers would change. Students, just think about the overall benefits of a woman's nature being taught from an actual scholastic point of view and what it does to society. It makes society better, but it also cripples these certain entities that are, in other words, hindering society or causing great harm to society. What's up, Charcoal Cowboy? What's up, The Ice Cold Wolf? What's up, Neek? What's up, Tierra? And again, it's not that women are inherently bad. It's just that a woman was created for a man. So in other words, Adam is Adam without Eve. Eve is not Eve without Adam. I'm gonna say it again. Adam is Adam without Eve. Eve is not Eve without Adam. The woman was created for the man, not the man created for the woman, not this whole worship the woman, the divine feminine, all that's cap. The woman was created for the man because God saw man and he was alone, and God said it's not good. It's not good for man to be alone, because when man is alone, what does man do? Man becomes consumed in his own thoughts and his own actions. Not to say it will always be a bad thing, but we know that when a man has a singular focus, oftentimes it's very bad. Men usually have to have something to strive for that's greater than them, i.e., wife, children, family, community, nation, etc. But a woman was created for a man, so a man's test is the woman. Now, the woman doesn't realize that she is the test. If she did, then she will behave a lot differently, but she doesn't. What a woman does is that she looks for the excuse to engage in bad behavior, i.e., succumb to her nature. If you think about it, Eve had everything she wanted in the garden, and she still chose Satan. Eve had everything that she wanted in the garden, but she still chose Satan. So even if Adam was a coward and Adam was weak, Eve going to Satan is her character. So I'll give you an example. Let's say a guy is the worst husband on earth and his wife cheats on him. Her cheating on him has nothing to do with him being the worst husband. Her cheating on him is her character. Now, her being depressed, that could be from him. Her being sad, that could be from him. Her seeking help and counseling, that could be from him. But her cheating on him is her character. How you respond to adversity is who you are. So Eve chose Satan. So no matter how cowardly Adam was, Eve still chose Satan. You know, there's this notion that says, if a man does this, then a woman will do this. This is a lie. Women will always say, if a man leads, I'll follow. This is a lie. It's not true. You can't make a woman do anything. And women know this. This is why it's a trick. This is why they tell guys, if you lead me, I'll follow. It's a setup. If you are truly a follower, you're always a follower. That means you're first a follower of what? God. You're going to follow God's word. Then you're going to follow your parents. Then you're going to follow the rules. Like, you being a follower of leadership can be displayed throughout society. But when you see women saying, I'm willing to be led, and she got a whole bunch of tattoos, she's lying to you. Because the tattoos are rebellion against what? Against an image. Against an image that she sees as what? As being pure and being chaste. She doesn't want that image. She doesn't want the responsibility of being seen as a person that's supposed to be virtuous. Why? Because she wants to engage in bad behavior. So again, fellas, for you all listening, any woman telling you that she wants to be led is already a bad candidate. Because women that are good followers and want to be led, they just do it. They don't have to say it. Like a woman telling you, she's making a bold proclamation. She says, baby, I'm going to love you forever. She's lying to you. Because women that's going to love you forever is not going to say it, she's going to do it. Again, always look at a woman's actions. But let me get into my notes from last week that I did not get to uncover. Let me go to my notes. Let me see. To become a godly woman and limit my access. The woman's question is, do I become a godly woman and limit my access to the world and say no to Satan and control my emotions? Oh, and subdue my nature. Or do I straddle the fence and listen to Satan, have a chaotic life, and terrorize every man that I meet? These are the questions a woman has to ask. Do I become a godly woman and limit my access to the world and say no to Satan and control my emotions and subdue my nature? Or do I straddle the fence, listen to Satan, have a chaotic life, and terrorize every man that I meet? Most relationships end due to women. Women are the number one cause of failed relationships. Why? Because they're ruled by their emotions. And a person ruled by their emotions is going to talk to Satan. Satan appeals to emotions. God appeals to faith. Satan appeals to emotions. God appeals to discipline. Satan appeals to emotion. God appeals to honor. So the nature of a man is like God. The nature of a woman is like Satan, is chaotic. Again, the woman was created for the man. The man's test is the woman. Her job is to realize that she is a man's test, and her job is to be as close to God as possible. Signs of chaos in a woman: excessive cleaning, inability to sit in quiet, inability to sleep, inability to sit still. Signs of chaos in a woman: inability, excessive cleaning, inability to be quiet, sit in silence, inability to sit still, and inability to sleep. Those are signs of chaos in a woman. If she exhibits these signs, fellas, she's going to be chaotic. Not saying she has to remain chaotic, but just know chaos is there. Most modern women are on prescription drugs. Most women that you date, if you go to their medicine cabinet, they are on some type of prescription drug. This is most women. Most women are on prescription drugs. Why? Because they refuse to deal with their chaos. And keep in mind, what I'm saying is not a death sentence for women. Women have a choice. Women know when they're being manipulative, they know it's wrong. Women know when they're doing wrong. But the goal is to appease their emotions, i.e. appease Satan. This is why Eve could talk to Satan so easily, because that's her nature. A man's nature is God. A woman's nature is Satan. That's her nature. Now, again, Satan had a choice. Satan didn't have to be Satan. Eve didn't have to do what she did. She got a choice. Women have to overcome their nature. They got to overcome the chaos. A man must overcome his lust for the woman, his lust for power, his lust for the world. A man has to overcome his lust. Woman has to overcome her nature, her lust to be like God. That's Eve. Once Satan told Eve that she could be like God, then that's what made her want to eat the fruit. Somebody said, give examples of excessive cleaning. Example of excessive cleaning is you clean it every day. And I don't just mean you're washing the dishes. Like, I mean, you're actually cleaning up every single day. It's excessive because your day shouldn't be that open where you have to, unless you have, you don't have any, unless you got children and stuff going on, like you're doing projects and stuff like that, I get it. But if you're just at home, you clean every day, no, it's a sign of chaos. You don't want to sit still. If you always cleaning, you always moving around, it's always noisy, you can't sleep, where does God fit into the equation? Where does God fit into the equation if you're always doing something? If you can't ever sit down and be still, what time do you have for God? You don't. This is why women don't do it. Because to sit still means you got to deal with yourself and you got to go to God. Because once you're dealing with yourself, the only recourse is to turn to God. I'm not saying that a woman should not be clean. I'm saying that excessive cleaning is a sign of chaos. Not being able to be still is a sign of chaos. Not being able to sit in quiet and peace and just relax and just meditate and just pray, this chaos. Because you know, once you close your eyes and it's quiet, you got to deal with yourself. Most women do not want to deal with themselves because they know they're not good people. I'm not saying this to talk down on women. I'm just telling you why they don't do it, because it reveals they're not good people. Guess what? A man, he knows this. Listen, a guy knows when he's a dirtbag and when he's not. That's not a man's hang up. When men are dirtbags, they usually accept it. I'm a dirtbag. They tell you I'm a dirtbag. Women, when they're dirtbags, they don't tell you they're dirtbags. They don't tell you they're horrible. Anyway, let's continue. Again, most women, modern women, are on prescription drugs. They are on prescription drugs because, again, there's internal chaos. Mike Krzyzewski gave a quote, and he said that winning has to be joy. It can't be relief. Yes, Tierra, hoarders are also chaotic. So again, we have but think about what I'm telling you though. These are two extremes. Excessive cleaning and hoarders are the same person. The excessive cleaner and the hoarder are the exact same person. One wants to bury the chaos. The other one wants to keep it clean so you don't see it. They're both the same person. Mike Krzyzewski gave a quote, one of the greatest quotes ever, and he said, winning has to be joy. It can't be relief. That means that when you win a game, it can't be to fix a problem in your life. Getting married cannot be a problem solver in your life. It can't be a problem fixing your life. Getting married has to be joy. It can't be relief. Most women today are getting married for relief. It's not joy, it's relief. And they had that Cracker Jack surprise. Listen, fellas, every woman has a Cracker Jack surprise. That means when you marry her, she's going to disclose something to you that she never told you. You're not going to know what it is. My boy told me this. Cracker Jack surprise. Cracker Jack surprise. She's going to disclose something to you that she didn't tell you before. And it's something that she kept from you for a reason. Now, I'm just telling you, it's coming out. This is why you have the 95% of women, 2 to 5% of women, and the 1% woman. Most women are 95% women. How do you know this? Because they're going to tell you that they're different. So you know they're the same as all the rest of them. The greatest indicator is when she says, I'm not like the rest of these women, she most surely is. Anyway, 95% of women, 2 to 5% of women, the 1% woman. 95% of women, if you marry them, she's going to get worse. Your life's going to be living hell. I'm sorry, that's what it is. 2 to 5% of women, they have the potential to be the 1% woman. They will not go to 95%. They will require some work, but it is possible for that 2 to 5% woman to be a 1% woman. The 2 to 5% woman does one thing that separates her from the 95% of women, is that she will self-correct. The 2 to 5% woman will self-correct bad behavior, and she does not like bad behavior. She detests bad behavior. She does not engage in bad behavior on a consistent basis. The 2 to 5% woman. The 1% woman, if you meet her, fellas, you can marry her tomorrow. You have you'll be in the garden pre-sin. I'm just going through my notes from last week. I didn't get to share. Women lie because emotions justify their actions. Women lie because emotions justify their actions. She didn't get the shot, but she's still a modern woman. Most women that didn't get the shot are still modern women. They just did one thing right. It's like a broken clock. Most modern women that are not jabbed up, all they can tell you, they didn't get the shot. They're still modern women. They're still ungodly modern women. They just didn't get the shot. They have to think about it. They spent their whole life infected with feminism, programming, propaganda, being a modern woman. That didn't just switch off because a pandemic happened. Or should I say a Peter pandemic? So most of these women just didn't get the shot. They're still modern women. They still desire the same things. They have the same chaotic nature. They're still silly. It's just they didn't get the shot. That's all. Why is there so much effort to hide female nature from the world? Because they have to push globalism, one world religion, one world government, one world people for the Antichrist. Have you ever met a woman that says she detoxed from feminism? Have you ever met a woman that said that she has detoxed from feminism? The answer is no. Have you ever met a woman, fellas, that said, I have detoxed myself from feminism. I have purged myself from feminism. I have fasted from the world long enough for feminism to not be an issue in my life. You never heard it. Because women, no matter what they say, still like feminism. How you know this? The women have never taken to the streets to protest against feminism. Women have never taken to the streets to protest against feminism. Now, they went to the streets and protested for abortion, but not feminism. Which lets you know that most women don't have a problem with feminism. They don't. Why would you have a problem? Think about it. Why would a woman have a problem being told that she is better than a man? That life should be about her. What woman would have a problem with that? Majority of women wouldn't. The only woman that would have a problem with it is the woman that's what? Spending time with God. Now listen to the women on YouTube and Instagram and Twitter. Y'all are not a part of the masses of women I'm talking about. I'm talking about the 95% of women. If I talk to you all would tell me you're not part of that group. So I understand that y'all don't do it. Y'all wouldn't do it, but the majority of women that you know do it. I'm sorry. When a woman, 95% of women marry men they can manipulate. She's thinking about herself, not his legacy. Is she really honored to be his wife, or did she just find someone to put on the hook? Again, most women that want to get married, again, that are actively trying to get married, are manipulating. Because none of them are saying, I want to find a man I can submit to. I want to find a man I can serve. They ain't talking like that. I want a man that I can be honored to be his wife. I'm ready to get to work. They don't talk like that. When a woman is ready to get married and have children, she will make a deal with the devil. When a woman is ready to get married to have children, she will make a deal with the devil. I'm just telling you all right now. I'm just telling you all right now that I'm telling you a woman will be cheating on a guy, and the guy that she's cheating with, she will be having Bible study with him. Listen to me. A woman will be cheating on a guy. The guy that she's cheating with, she will be having Bible study with him. That's how far women go when they're ready to get married and have children. They literally make a deal with Satan. I'm just telling you, the most dangerous time for a woman is when she wants to get married and have children, because she will make a deal with the devil. Why? Because she's desperate. She's not moving in faith. She's moving in desperation. And God doesn't exist there. If the woman is not submitted to God, she will not submit to you. If the woman is not submitted to God, she will not submit to you. Don't even try it. If a woman does not want to listen to your instruction, fellas, don't date her. I learned the hard way. Don't date her. If a woman does not want to listen to your instructions, do not date her, because 9 times out of 10, it's not going to change. It's not going to change, because the fact that she doesn't want to listen makes her 95%er. The fact that she doesn't want to submit to listen to you, it makes her 95%er. So don't waste your time. Only deal with 5% of women out there. That's it. Only deal with 5%. And you're going to find that most women don't qualify for that 5%. Women don't have moral character. They are ruled by emotion. That means they are ruled by Satan. Satan appeals to feelings and God appeals to faith. Solution: ladies, you must submit to God, and that will require you to spend exhaustive hours alone with God. Yeah. Women are always trying to do brunch, this, go out, have fun, do this, all whipping and running, spending no time with God, 0 time with God. One young lady, she told me, she's a friend of mine, she said, I do spend time in quiet and alone. I said, how much time you spend? How much time? She said, I don't know, about 15 minutes a day. She said 15 minutes a day. Well, I bust out laughing. And she thought that 15 minutes was a great feat. I said, 15 minutes? Listen, again, as a woman, your life is going to be spent saying no to Satan. A man's life is going to be spent saying yes to God. So as a woman, you need to be spending exhaustive hours with God. Most women are, I said that before, women don't want to face themselves because most of them know they're horrible people. Like I said before, women know. The reason why women avoid themselves because they know they're bad people. Again, you don't have to be a bad person. You don't have to remain bad. But women know in their mind, when I could have done right, the majority of my life I chose wrong. Most women. And when I say right, I mean right from a moral character standpoint, not right as in following the law, not right as in what's in the open. Talking about behind closed doors, you choose what's right. They'll follow the rules in society. Talking about behind closed doors, what are you doing? Think about a woman that's going out with a guy that she doesn't like. Why is she going out with him? Because she wants the attention. She wants the meal. She wants to be, she wants all of the bad things. Think about women for most of their life, they're entertaining guys they don't want. Think about this. Most women spend the majority of their life entertaining guys they don't want. Why are they doing it? There's no honorable reason to do it. MKOK, the accusing finger of a man will always find a woman. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah. Yeah, I can see it. I can see it. I can see it. I can see it. And the accusation might be right most of the time. Not all the time. Most times it's going to be right. All this chaos is stirred up. So the man all of this chaos, the woman stirs up. So the man does not get to see the real her. The truth about the matter is that she doesn't add any value. What men value, women don't value. Women value things like leverage, looks, fertility, pleasure. That's about it. What men value are respect, honor, loyalty, character, principles, honesty, standards. These are things that most women hate. But these are also things that God loves. So a woman has to learn to love the things that a man loves by spending time with God. A woman can only add value to a man if she is submitted to God. A woman can only add value to a man if she is submitted to God. The things that men value, loyalty, respect, honor, character, principles, honesty, standards, commitment, most women hate these things because women leverage three things. They leverage their beauty, they leverage their fertility, and they leverage their ability to give pleasure. That's what women focus on. Think about it. Think about the industries where women spend the most money. Don't take my word for it. Just go look and see where women invest the most time and energy and money, and it's in those three things. It's in preservation of beauty, fertility, and ability to give pleasure. It's those three things. I'm just telling you. So again, women don't have to be doomed to this existence. Women have a choice, just like men have a choice. I'm trying to give you all the keys so that you all can be successful and have an actual happy life. To where when you go home, your spouse is actually happy to see you. That's kind of life you want, where your spouse enjoys being in your presence, enjoys spending time with you. Most married couples can't say that because most men married a woman based on his emotions. He did. And most women married the man based on her manipulation. She did. This is an essay by author Schopenhauer. I'm going to continue reading. Nature has made it the calling of the young, strong, and handsome men to look after the propagation of the human race so that the species may not degenerate. This is the firm will of nature, and it finds its expression in the passions of women. The law surpasses all others in both age and power. Woe then to the man who sets up rights and interests in such a way as to make them stand in the way of it. For whatever he may do or say, they will, at the first significant onset, be unmercifully annihilated. That's what it says. Woe then to the man who sets up rights and interests in such a way as to make them stand in the way of it. For whatever he may do or say, they will, at the first significant onset, be unmercifully annihilated. So think about the rights. Think about this first. Think about the fact that men innately want to preserve the species. This is what makes women desirable. Women know this. So because men want to procreate, women always are in a position to be pursued. So women are never off the table. They're never off the market. There needs to be a constant supply of women so the human race can survive. That natural instinct that a man has, he cannot set up a society, right, to go against that. He cannot grant women certain rights and privileges that would have them and otherwise go against that, which is what we see today. We see women choosing not to get married, women choosing abortion, women choosing to be boss chicks, women choosing all types of things because they've been given these rights. In other words, giving a woman freedom, she will ultimately choose death. Why? Because she's talking to Satan. She's not talking to God. When you give women freedom, more times than not, she's going to choose death. Just look at today. What do women do with the freedoms they have? They choose destruction. For the secret, unformulated, nay, unconscious, but innate moral of women is we are justified in deceiving those who, because they care a little for us, that is to say, for the individual, imagine they have obtained rights over the species. Listen to this. For the secret, unformulated, nay, unconscious, but innate moral of women is we are justified in deceiving those who, because they care a little for us, that is to say, for the individual, imagine they have obtained rights over the species. Listen to what he's saying. He's saying that women sit back and say, I'm not special. I'm just a woman. So because you just want a woman and I ain't special, I'm justified in manipulating you. This is the subconscious mind of a woman. This is her nature. Because you just want a woman, because the man's nature is to procreate, and he's not really specific on who he does it with, as long as it's a woman, because it's that, then I'm justified in manipulating men. This is what's being said. Again, women don't have a moral center. Women have women have to learn to have character by spending time with God. Otherwise, she'll justify every bad act because of her emotions. The Constitution and consequently the welfare of the species have been put into our hands and entrusted to our care through the medium of the next generation, which proceeds from us. Let us fulfill our duties conscientiously. He's telling men right now, it's our job to preserve the species. We got to move society forward, so we can't just give it over to women. That's what he's saying right there. We got to be very conscious of what we're doing. But women are by no means conscious of this leading principle in abstracto. They are only conscious of it in concreto. Not in abstracto, but in concreto, and have no other way of expressing it than in their manner in which they act when the opportunity arrives, so that their conscience does not trouble them so much as we imagine. For in the darkest depths of their hearts, they are conscious that in violating their duty towards the individual, they have all the better fulfilled it towards the species, whose claim upon them is infinitely greater. And it's a reference to a guy's book. But I'm going to say it again. Again, this right here is a woman's nature. Pay attention. Listen to me. But women are by no means conscious of this leading principle in abstracto. They are only conscious of it in concreto and have no way of expressing it than in the manner in which they act when the opportunity arrives, so that their conscience does not trouble them so much as we imagine. For in the darkest depths of their hearts, they are conscious that in violating their duty towards the individual, they have all the better fulfilled it towards the species, whose claim upon them is infinitely greater. So in other words, a woman's going to say, if I don't do men like this, I'm not fulfilling my role for the species. Remember I said earlier, the woman is the test for the man. The woman is the test for the man. But what she has to realize is that as she is the test, she's also being tested. Because in her testing, she's supposed to be learning and growing herself. So the nature of a woman says, if I don't terrorize these men, I'm not doing my job as a woman for the species. And in some instances, she's actually right, because men need to see the true nature of a woman. Nicodemus said, was the author married? It don't sound like it. Was the author married? It don't sound like it. I mean, if he was, he probably was married. And I'm gonna say this right. Men need to see the true nature of a woman. Men need to have their heart broken. Men need to get cheated on. Men need to get used. Men need to have the worst experiences with women to just balance out how men view the woman, to keep the man from putting her on a pedestal, because once he pedestalizes a woman, it's game over. So I believe that men should go through all that with a woman so he can actually see clearly when dealing with a woman. He needs to be able to see clearly. Charco said, Blanche, this is precisely why women are so susceptible to communism. Yes, you are 1,000% correct. And every other ism, globalism, communism, any feminism, like anything that deals with the destruction of society, they gravitate towards it. If if y'all have any questions, please ask. And a guy said this in the video I posted this week on my stories. If it wasn't for men, there'd be no relationships. We only have relationships because of men. And he said, if men behave like women, there would be no relationship. This is how you know, as much as we want to try to say this, men are acting like women. Maybe more men are, but most of men aren't. Because if they did, there'd be no relationships. Think about if men behaved like women and went tit for tat with women, went back and forth. There would be the erratic, human beings would die off in a generation, it'd be over with. But again, what most men do is most men tolerate bad behavior. That's what they do. Most men tolerate it because they want access to the vajayjay, the vagina. So most men tolerate bad behavior to have access to sex. Imagine most men putting up with all this stuff just to get married, and now she's rationing out the sex to you. Most women, when they get married, are going to ration out sex. Listen, fellas, unless you marry the top 5% of women, she's going to ration out sex. That means out of 10 women, 9.5 are going to do it. I don't care what she tells you. I love sex. I can't wait. She's lying. That is rare for a wife to do that. I'm telling you. Because most women, their entire life, have had sex through manipulation. Most women, their entire life, have had sex through manipulation. They view sex as manipulation. Women don't just have sex. They do it for a reason. Men have sex most times for pleasure, not women. Women got a plan they're cooking up in the back of their mind. Women don't engage in sex just for pleasure. I'm sorry, they don't. There's always a method to the madness. And when you get married to them, you'll find out what the method was and what the madness actually is. And I'm pretty sure the married men in here that are divorced, because you probably can't say it now, but the married men in here that are divorced will tell you that their wives are to ration out sex. Because women in truth exist entirely for the propagation of the race and their destiny ends here, they live more for the species than for the individual. And their hearts take the affairs of the species more seriously than those of the individual. This gives to their whole being and a character of certain frivolousness and altogether a certain tendency which is fundamentally different from that of a man, and that is which develops that discord in married life, which is so prevalent in almost the normal state. So what he's saying here is what Charco alluded to earlier. This is why women fall for communism, is because they take a holistic approach when looking at society. So in other words, when a woman gets married, she's not focused on her husband anymore. She's focused on the household, the children, the society, the world, her family. Her husband's last on the list. The husband is last on the list. So again, fellas, if a woman is not submitted to God, she's not going to submit to you. A woman's focus needs to be the man. As I think right now, I don't think I can even date a woman that has pets. And I'm saying this, thinking about this right now. I'm thinking about this because what's the chances of me getting with a woman that has some animals and her putting me above those animals? She's not going to do it. Think about a woman that has pets, and think about you come in a situation, it's her, it's a dog, it's a cat, or it's her, 2 dogs and a cat, or it's her, 3 dogs, it's her, two. Think about it's her with some pets. You come into the situation and you got to prove yourself worthy enough to be a husband, right? But will you ever be proven enough to be above the animals, though? I mean, think about this. Think about her respecting you as the husband, but not putting you above the animals. I don't even recommend a guy marrying a woman that has pets. I don't. Because I know in her deluded mind, she's not going to put you above the pets, and she should. In her life, it should be God, you, then her. That should be the order. God, you, then her. But most women are going to go God, herself, the pets, no. God, no. Herself, Satan, God, the children, the pets, then you. Then you. I'm just telling y'all, fella. I know it sounds bad. But as a man, the woman should put you first. And if she has pets, I doubt she's gonna do that. I doubt it. She ain't gonna do it. She ain't gonna do it. Because most women get pets to deal with their chaos. Most women get pets to deal with their chaos. Think about most women a dog is man's best friend, not a woman. Women get dogs because they want to be loved unconditionally. Women get dogs because they want to get loved unconditionally. But they're also chaotic, so they also get a cat too because they like the cats because the cats mirror them. So they actually like to see how the cat interacts with them, and they like the dynamics too, the chaos. But women get dogs because they want something to love them unconditionally. That's all. They want a dog to love them unconditionally. That's all. They don't deeper in that. And they know this dog is always excited to see them. Keep in mind now, most women don't want to deal with themselves. So imagine a woman that knows it's not a good person, but when she comes home, the dog is so excited to see her. Makes her feel good. At least somebody loves me for me. Because the dog sees, listen, those pets see everything in that house and they still love her. That dog sees everything in that house with that woman, and that dog or those dogs still love her. That makes her feel good. You mean to tell me as bad as I am, something still loves me? That's why they get pets. A man gets a dog for companionship. A man will die behind his dog. The dog will die behind the owner. A man relationship with a dog is totally different than a woman's relationship with a dog. It ain't even close. Men get dogs as companions. When a man has a dog, it's a dog never chaotic. When a man has a dog, the dog is never chaotic. When it's a single guy with a dog, the dog is always calm. That dog be riding shotgun with him. That dog be chilling. Dog would be chilling because a dog is man's best friend. Diamonds are a girl's best friend, not a dog. So women get pets because those pets will love them unconditionally, because the pets see them at their worst and still love them. That makes them feel good, but they know that the average guy wouldn't do it. If the average guy saw women at their worst, they wouldn't deal with them. They know this, why they manipulate so much. But when they get married, boy, they're going to put that mask off. They're going to terrorize you. It is natural for a feeling of mere indifference to exist between men, but between women, it is actually enmity. This is due perhaps to the fact that odium figulinum in the case of men is limited to their everyday affairs, but with women embraces the whole sex since they have only one kind of business. Odium figulinum. Look that up. Gotta look it up. So odium figulinum, odium figulinum is a Latin phrase translating to potter's hatred or trade jealousy, referring to the bitter envy and competition between people in the same trade or profession. That's what that means. So it is natural for a feeling of mere indifference to exist between men, but between women, it is actually enmity. This is due to perhaps to the fact that odium figulinum, in the case of men, is limited to their everyday affairs, but with women, embraces the whole sex since they have only one kind of business. So in other words, men might have this in doing something against each other, but it doesn't just exist naturally in men. It exists naturally in women. That's why I say that most women don't like each other. You don't believe me? Go look at the stepmom and the daughter. Go look at the stepmom and the daughter. Women do not like each other. I don't care what they tell you, what they say. Women are in constant competition. Women don't give women good advice. They don't. Why would they? Why would the average woman give you good advice? You're her competition. Why would she? Even if both of y'all are single, why would she give you good advice? Even if y'all are married, why would she give you good advice? You might take her husband. Like, again, this is the nature of a woman. Odium figulinum. Even when they meet in the street, they look at each other like gelfs and gelabines. And it is quite evident when two women first make each other's acquaintance that they exhibit more constraint and dissimulation than two men placed in similar circumstances. In other words, women, when they meet each other, they lie, trying to figure each other out. They lie. They manipulate when they see each other. They say, how are we going? Let me see what this chick is about. Let me see what this chick is about. Most guys, they meet each other, they try to size each other up, see if he's a man's man or not. Gelfs. So a gelf is Italian for, I guess, someone that gelfs and Ghibellines support the Pope in the Holy Roman Empire and in Italian states. I guess it was the rivalry between two parties. Okay, it's a rivalry between, it's a rivalry between two parties in the Roman Empire and mostly all of Italy. The struggle of power between the papacy and the Holy Roman Empire. So that's what it is. The fight between the papacy and the Roman Empire. So that's how women interact with each other for the most part. They're at odds with each other. When you see groups of women hanging around, they don't like each other. They don't. They're using each other. When you see a group of women hanging around, they're using each other. It's very superficial. It's we all look good, so we can, that's take pictures. We look at my girl, we all look good. They all got a certain career, make a certain amount of money, they go on trips. It's all superficial. Most women don't like each other. Most women do not like each other. They don't. Most women are very vindictive, very nasty, very evil, very cutthroat. Most women are. They hide it well, but they are. Every now and then you can see it. This is why an exchange of compliments between two women is much more ridiculous than between two men. Further, while a man will, as a rule, address others, even if those inferior to himself, with a certain feeling of consideration and humanity, it is unbearable to see how proudly and disdainfully a lady of rank will, for the most part, behave towards one who is of lower rank. not important her service when she speaks to her. Again, you want to see women cut up, look at women in a workplace, a work setting where there's hierarchies. You're going to see it. Women don't get along at all. They don't. Women, like I said before, women are more likely to abuse in positions of power than men. Women are more likely to kill for love, like 4 times more likely to kill for love than men. Like women, when they have positions in society, they are abusive. They become cutthroat. Why? Because it goes against their nature. So it's their nature's way of responding, of saying, I shouldn't be here. It's truly a warning sign to men to say she shouldn't be in that position. So her nature starts to act up to be a signal and say, okay, remove her from that position. That's why women, when they get married, behave the same way, because you married her under the wrong pretense. You married her, giving her the leverage. Listen, fellas, if you sleep with the woman, you give her the leverage. I'm sorry to tell you that. If you sleep with a woman, you give her leverage. Now, the downfall is if you don't sleep with her, she's going to be upset because she wants the leverage. This is most women, not the 5%, 2 to 5% women, not the 1% woman, but the 95% of women. If you deal with them and you don't sleep with them, it's going to be a problem because she wants the leverage. Again, women don't sleep with men for just enjoyment. There's always a method to the madness. And if you marry them, you will understand the method and you will see the madness. Neek said, don't be pretty working in no office. Again, because she knows when it's an office and it's a 9 or a 10 in the office, and all the rest of women about 4s and 3s, 4s and 5s, they're gonna hate her. They're gonna invite her out to lunch. They're gonna talk to, girl, you look so good. They're gonna do all, but when they get behind, they hate her guts. Girl, you look so good today, girl. Why ain't you married? Throwing jabs, just I'm telling you, this is a cold game. Women are cutthroat. Further, while a man will as a rule, oh no, I'm sorry, I read that part. I'm sorry. This may be because differences of rank are much more precarious with women than with us, and consequently more quickly change their line of conduct and elevate them. Or because while 100 things must be weighed in our case, there's only one to be weighed in theirs, namely with which man they have found favor. And again, because of this, the one-sided nature of their vocation, they stand in closer relationship to each other than men do. And so it is they try to render prominent the difference of rank. So in other words, what he's saying is, he's saying that women pretty much only care about how they're viewed by men. Because of this makes them all the same. And because they're all the same, anything that separates them is seen as, I'm better. So in other words, because women are all the same, basically, anything that deviates them as far as position, status, money, whatever, once they get that, they're going to stunt on the ones they quote unquote feel are below them. Because it's what she's saying is, I'm better than the rest of them. I'm a better candidate to be a wife. I'm a better candidate for men to like me or love me or pursue me. I'm better than them. So I have to prove that by stunning on them, trying to elevate myself. Boy, this thing is long. I'm gonna have to do a part 3, y'all. This thing, listen. This man probably wrote this in one night. This man probably wrote this in one night. It is only the man whose intellect is clouded by a sexual instinct that could give that stunted, narrow-shouldered, broad-hipped, and short-legged race the name of their fair sex. For the entire beauty of the sex is based on this instinct. The entire beauty of women is based on procreation. The entire beauty of women is simply based on procreation. One would be more justified in calling them the unesthetic sex than the beautiful. Neither for music nor for poetry nor for fine art have they any real or true sense of susceptibility, and it is mere mockery on their part in their desire to please if they affect any such thing. So, in other words, women don't care, like I said before, women don't care about anything other, most women, than beauty, procreation, and ability to give pleasure. That's what most women put their stock in. They don't care about the fine arts, inventions, nothing that moves society. Women don't care about nothing, none of that. Women care about, for the most part, attracting a man. That's what they care about. This makes them incapable of taking a purely objective interest in anything. And the reason for it is, I fancy as follows. A man strives to get direct mastery over things, either by understanding them or by compulsion. But a woman is always and everywhere driven to indirect mastery, namely through a man, all her direct mastery being limited to him alone. Therefore, it lies in a woman's nature to look upon everything only as a means for winning man. And her interest in anything else is always a simulated one, a mere roundabout way to gain her ends, consisting of coquetry and pretense. Coquetry. They had such better vocabulary back then. They had such better. So, like I said before, women care about getting a man. Kanye West said it best. What did he say? He said, hold on, let me get to that. Let me read this first. I can find that verse. Coquetry refers to flirtatious behavior, manners, or actions intended to attract admiration, attention, or affection, often without serious intent. Yeah, so that's women always seeking attention. Listen, fellas, if your woman loves attention, she's gonna be a problem. Dang, my sound is off. How long my sound been off? Oh man, how much of it was how much? Oh my goodness. What was the last thing I said? Please tell me. What was the last thing I said? Oh, Well, I'll start it back on the next slide. Let me go find out where I was. So I'll start back on the next slide. Sorry about that, you all. I'm sorry. Can you all hear me now though? Sorry about that. Okay. So I, I'll finish it next time. But let me go to my notes for this week though. I have notes for this week. Um to the men, if you don't sleep with them, she will crash out. If you don't sleep with them, to crash. In other words, what I'm saying is again, women for the most part have sex for leverage. So she's sleeping with you because she wants leverage. She wants leverage. If you don't give her leverage, she's going to crash out because again, the things that you want her, the things that give her leverage, she doesn't value. She doesn't value honor, principles, morals, standards, virtue. She doesn't value those things. She values beauty, procreation, fertility, and providing pleasure. So because she knows she doesn't value what you value, she has to manipulate. But learning about female nature, it makes sense why men had multiple women. Like it makes sense. Like because you think about it, and again, I'm not advocating for this, I'm just saying it makes sense. Because think about a woman that has to that you have to get everything from. Think about a woman that has to think about a woman that has to be she has to be virtuous, understanding, loyal. She has to be all of these things as one person. And for the most part, she probably hasn't even invested in it. Other than this woman right here, I use her for sex. I use her for procreation. I use her to be my wife. I use her for business. See what I'm saying? Like that that model makes sense to try to curtail woman's nature. To me, the solution is the 5% of women. But I do understand back in the day why they would want multiple women because they all serve a different function. Because most women, as you'll learn, are not going to be good. They're just not. Just because of their nature, they're never going to deal with themselves. So they're not going to be good. But besides that 5 to 1%. But I do understand though. Um uh so the woman's going to say in her mind, when you sleep with the woman, it justifies her bad behavior. So if you sleep with her, she's going to say, since there aren't any men that will remain celibate till marriage, I don't have to. What you'll find is that women live their life reading the room. Much of what they do, they'll justify by saying, well, men can't do it either. So I should be able to do it. Listen, I'm not saying that we should have multiple wives. I'm saying I understand why men did it. Again, I'm gonna say it again. I'm not advocating for multiple wives. I said I understand why it was done because now it makes sense. Because we're told there was just lustful men, but no. If we go through this, learn a woman's nature, we see why this a man would choose her for sex, he would choose her for procreation, he would choose her to be the wife, and he would choose her for the business stuff or social stuff. I'm just saying it makes sense. Yes, scrapping beauty. Celibacy breeds strength. Thank you, Willie Doc, for the super sticker. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. And thank you, Anthony Labrakiak, for the super sticker. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. But I tell men this, that when you sleep with the woman, you give her the leverage. Because when you have sex with her, she knows that you're weak. Think about it. Every man has either slept with her or tried to sleep with her. Think about it. So that means every man in her mind wants one thing. If you succumb to that one thing, then she wins. So in her mind, she is not going to respect you. I don't care what she says on a basic instinct level. She's only going to respect the guy that didn't sleep with her. She only going to respect the guy that said, I'm not sleeping with you. So if you want leverage, fellas, you need to be abstinent, not just for leverage, but because God wants you to not fornicate before marriage, but because she knows you're for real. And again, the 1% woman will look at you as heaven sent. The 2 to 5% woman will look at you as heaven sent, but there will be some reluctancy there. But 5% of women will see that as a good thing, and that will make them more inclined to want to be your wife. 95% of women will hate you for it. They'll hate you. Listen, you all. I love y'all. And again, this is about men and women coming together to preserve what God created. That is the family. That is man, woman, and child. And so I will make it my duty to tell the truth. And the truth will involve exposing a woman's nature, because everything hinges upon that being withheld, that being concealed. No one has a problem exposing men at all. No one has a problem talking about the male nature at all. No one has a problem diagnosing and dissecting men. The issue is always when it comes to women. So listen, you all, I love you all. I'm praying for y'all. I will be doing my Hell Week this week for my content. So this will be Black Misery Month. This will be Hell Week. I will try to go live every day this week, starting tomorrow for Black History, and it will end on Saturday. So I'm calling it Hell Week. We're going to be going in on all the propaganda and the programming and everything every day for an entire week. But listen, I love you all, and I'm praying for you all, and God has a man out there for you and a woman out there for you. But you must be the person that God wants you to be able to attain that person, because God's not going to have somebody for you just for you to sabotage them. So you need to be working on yourself every day, being a wife and being a husband. Listen, I love you all. Thank y'all so much, and I'll see you all soon. Thank you.